Good evening everyone, a fistful of goats here and welcome back to the channel. Now last night my locals did their first ever Genesys event, and because it was a low power format, of course I had to play Burning Abyss. Had to see how old rival would do in the new environment. Sadly not very well. I don't know what happened, but here are my matchups. Round 1 was against Goatee, a card whose boss monster bashes your whole field. My second round was against Ash and Snake Eye, so two archetypes that put things on your board, which just triggers my Xenolock, because I can't do much. It was a nightmare. Third round I got a bye, and the fourth round was against Ninja, which puts your monsters face down, which again triggers the flipping Xenolock. I swear the Xenolock, the reason DBA can't get back to the meta, I swear to God. Anyway, I'm still going to show this deck for posterity's sake, because it's my first ever Genesys event. I want to give you my thoughts on the deck, why I thought went well, why I thought could be improved upon, and yeah, let's get to it. Also, please note that this deck is coming out, this deck list was from before the points change that happened today, so I will keep track of the points here. If anything's changed, just know what from this deck is from. Okay, let's get to it. So starting things off, we have 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, and supporting her we have got 1 Rhino. This is 9 points, as Tour Guide has 3 each. Now Tour Guide is of course a 1-card combo. It gets you a Graph or any of the Fiend from your deck. You can then overlay them for Dante, mill 3, trigger whatever you summoned, because the effect's negated, it'll go off in the graveyard and make it plays from there. However, in this case, it was also really good at getting either Rhino Warrior or another card I'll show in a second, which I think is the best card in this deck. I think Toga is actually stronger in this format than she was in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because with Ash Blossom's points being relatively high, it sees less play, so there's less things to snipe a Tour Guide, and again kill you with the Xenolock. Rhino, being a foolish barrel when he's sent to the graveyard, is really good, as he can set off not only any BA effects, but another card I'm about to discuss. And that card, of course, being 3 copies of Biao the Dawn's Light, a card that can not only protect your BAs from their own destruction effects, but can also, enter the graveyard, add the new fusion spell to your hand. And that makes the fusion monster, which is now the best card in this deck. Oftentimes, if I mill this off of Dante, I was really happy. Once I got it off Tour Guide, and once I used it on a Tour Guide that didn't resolve, so this card did not break the Xenolock in that regard. I also sent it off of Rhino once to get the fusion that way. And yeah, this card was just amazing today. I generally think, even though I didn't win any of the matches, most of the games I won was because of the fusion this card makes. For the actual BA names, let's go through those quickly. So the big 3 are at 3 copies each. So Seer, Graph, and Scam for what I call the BA cycle. As in, you get Graph, you make a BA, you send Graph, get Seer, make another BA, and then hopefully get to Scam to get Tour Guide to do the process again next turn. But these cards are even better in this format because with Fire Lake playable in this format because of the slower pace, if you can get one of these on the board protected by loose, you can then use Fire Lake, pop one of these to not only wipe 3 cards from the opponent's field, but a 4th one with Loose's effect, plus getting your effects off. Speaking of which, we also have 2 copies of Farfa, 1 copy of Alich, 1 copy of Lubick, and 1 copy of Barbar, which I should not have played because of the new time rules. This card isn't actually that good. But he still burns. I can get the last point of damage in sometimes. Lubick can help you break the Xenolock by sewing a BA with its effects negated, which is not as good here because I haven't got any links to get the offending monster off our field, unfortunately. In fact, I can't wish to have these. I just played an extra copy of these 2. Because Farfa's removal can be pushed through game or take material off of an XCs. And with one of the best decks in this format being Exorcister and Odeon making a bunch of XCs, this card I think is a lot better than I thought. And Alich is still a Veiler effect, which again can shit on a lot of things. And if with Veiler seeing not that much play because of its points, I think having 2 of this would be really good. And for our final monster, this is in the Drew Travel of the Burning Abyss camp with, and I actually really like it, 3 Gamma Seals. Because not only is this card removal, but it's the lowest attack point Kaiju, and both Dante and Luce can beat over it. I have other Kaijus in the side, just for that Luce can take out, or Zeus, or some other XCs. But this card of the main was really good at just outing towers, like Lunar Light, for example. Then for the spell, really simple, 1 Beauty in the Sky. It shovels cards back from your graveyard into your deck to fuse out Luce. It can send the Fiend to the graveyard to add itself back to hand. It's a really powerful card, and the reason I got most of my wins that I did yesterday, sorry. And the rest of this is all trap cards. So 3 Torrential Tribute for my main board wipe. This card destroys all monsters in the field when a card's summoned. And in this format, people aren't playing Nibiru as much, so players were more willing to overcommit. Making a couple of good hits with this. That also triggered my BA effects. Speaking of which, we also have 2 Fire Lake. I wanted to play only 2 because I wanted more variety of traps in this deck, and with it being at 2, it's not too bad because Dante can recycle it. I kind of wish I had a third, to be honest with you, because I think it would come in handy with Loose, but these 5 cards really put in their work. Then we have, for the removal suite, 2 Ice Dragon Prison, 2 Wing Blast, 2 and 2 Dynamiscus. So I wanted a variety of different removal, because sometimes you don't want a card to be banished, like Goatee, for example, which is what this comes in. But this card gives you a discard, along with this, for more to trigger off your BA effects. And this card is also graveyard hate as well as removal, because it brings a card back from their graveyard, and then banishes 2 with the same type. So, yeah, pretty good. Also, it's another way you can have a BA die to its own Xenolock to trigger Loose. Again, the Xenolock isn't as bad if you're using it for your own advantage. I think I wish I had a third Wing Blast, to be honest with you, because this card was really good to prevent the opponent getting advantage and stuck in their deck. But I thought probably with this ratio. Now, you may be thinking, why am I not playing 3 of any of these? Well, I'll show you in a second. But first, here's a little tech I played in this deck. 2 copies of Fair Welcome Labyrinth. This is a Labyrinth card I've never seen play in the actual deck, but I found it in my bulk and I thought it was pretty cool. Basically, it's a negate attack that then pops a monster and then sets you a non-labyrinth trap. So you can prevent damage, get a BA effect off, and then set one of the cards I just showed you. Again, this card's not really great in Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh, but I thought it was pretty cool in this deck. And finally, for my last point card in the main deck, we have the 7-pointed Transaction Rollbacks. Again, this card can copy any of these traps in the grave. You can get it off of Dante Mills. Honestly, between this and the Fusion, I really wish I had a couple of Wish Burial Goods in this deck. I might try that next time. Oh, also, in case you're wondering, do not just play Beatrice. You can't get Soul Guide, you can't get to make it back row. Unlike VFD with Genesis before that point change happened, Beatrice is not worth it in this deck. So that puts us at 23 points in the main deck. That points part to go up a lot more in the extra deck. But first, we have 3 Dante. Can only do a big wall that with Seer can recycle himself. He also refills your hand and can be a decent body to put Zeus over, which is why we're playing 3 in this build. Honestly, I might come down to 2 and play an Asura King, which I wasn't playing today, but the 3 worked pretty well and I quite enjoyed playing it. But the MVP of this deck today was this. Not only has this got a 3/5 body, it also protects your BAs in the left and rightmost columns, and you can send a BA to grave to pop a card, and pop a card when a card on your field is destroyed. So this card can also trigger off effects of your BAs, kind of like Beatrice used to do. And also she can allow you to play your XCs that are not BAs, and still have regular BAs up for Fire Lake effects. And this card with a Fire Lake is insane, because that's basically a dark hole, unless your opponent's fully filled up their board. Then we have the best XC in the deck, in my opinion. Draco Future for 20 points. This card can negate an effect and steal the monster, which I don't recommend doing very often, because again, the Xenolock, but yeah. Anyway, but this card is really good with two Dantes under it, because you can gain more advantage every time you use its effect by recycling a BA to your hand. And when it's out, you can just summon those 2 BAs you got and continue playing. And for the last extra card with points, Zeus and the Zeus package. I mean, this card is it can be 2 board wipes with Power Torrential, that's 3. Fire Lake can give you 4, and most likely from what I'm playing through 4 board wipes, just saying. Also, the 3k body that can beat up with the other cards you can play in the side deck, and it is just a really powerful card. And the rest of these are just a rank 3 toolbox. I wanted to play Virgil, but I couldn't find the tuner in time, so I probably wouldn't play this again. I'd probably play Virgil with the tuner in the main deck. But this card can just suck up a monster when it's detached material, essentially making it a 1000 eyes restrict for Xyz. It's still pretty good, even if you can't get the goblins out of it. Then we're having Break Sword to pop monsters in the field, and Alucard for back row popping. Break Sword is really good because it pops itself and the opposing monster, giving you 2 BA effects. Alucard, not as good, I will admit, but you can just slap a Zeus on him if necessary. And speaking of Zeus cards, one of the best cards to get from is Darius. As when he attacks, he can destroy an opposing monster. Let me check out this right, actually. Yeah, you can swim with it, make him into the battle, and then pop the monster. They attack and deal 500 damage. This is a good way to get rid of big monsters that your BAs usually can't out. It's a way to guarantee you a Zeus line. It's just really good. And finally, we have for protection, 1 number 75. This card turns any affecting Zeus players draw a card. If you're playing draw, this can turn on your draws. It can stop cards like Skullmeister. And if one hasn't just shotgunned, it'll also stop Shifter. Although that won't happen very often, unfortunately, because Shifter is a card they're going to also fire against you once they know what you're playing. Next, for the side deck, we have the point cards are 3 Raigeki and 3 Solemns, brings it to 99 points. Just another ball wipe going second, and a good going first card for you to take out trench loss or some of the ball wipe for. Most players don't expect this in a BA deck because it doesn't discard, which means it can be a pretty nasty surprise as something an effect or inherent summon. I did play 3 Fiend Griefings, although I'm kind of regretting this one because Genesys is not much of a graveyard reliant format. So this card's effective to put a card back in opponent's deck and then send a Fiend. It wasn't really that useful aside from just sending a Fiend. I did use this card when I want to get Farther in the graveyard for an extra boost removal at one game and to refill my hand with Scan. So it wasn't bad per se, but definitely not used to its best abilities because of the lack of good graveyards synergy. Finally, then we got 3 Dark Rulers, which for some reason has 0 points at the time. Going just good second card, breaks boards. And finally, 3 more Kaijus. Yes, these should be sticky strings, I'm well aware. Couldn't find them in time, and loose beats over all of these anyway as a Zeus, so I don't think about it that much. So yeah, overall, this BA deck, I had fun playing it, but with my local meta, I'm not sure if I'll play it again. I definitely am looking forward to playing more Genesys, as I've got decks like Odeon and Generator I want to try out, look out for them in the future. Thank you all for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and my next video will be coming out hopefully on Thursday, but if not, definitely next Monday. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.